अपनी जो ड्रीम्स हैं उनको एक बेहतर तरीके से अचीव कर पाऊंगी। तो ये एक मेरे लिए इंस्पिरेशन है कि ये मुझे इंस्पायर करता है कि अगर मैं फाइनेंशियल इंडिपेंडेंट हूँ तो एक मैं बेहतर एजुकेशन और अपना जो करियर है वो एक बेहतर तरीके से परस्यू कर पाऊंगी। दैट्स व्हाई।
Thank you. So you had a big inspiration at home. So what were the next steps that you took then? How did you start your journey?
So मैंने अपनी जर्नी स्टार्ट की थी एज अ YPI प्रोग्राम में एज अ पार्टिसिपेंट। थ्रू दैट जर्नी उसके बाद मैंने उस प्रोग्राम से काफ़ी कुछ सीखा अपनी स्किल्स को इम्प्रूव करने के लिए। देन मैंने फ्री YPI प्रोग्राम में मैंने एज अ पीयर लीडर काम किया। उस प्रोग्राम में ने मुझे काफ़ी हेल्प की। आफ्टर दैट जब मैंने एम्पावरमेंट इकोनॉमिक एम्पावरमेंट प्रोग्राम किया तो उसमें मुझे काफ़ी कुछ लर्न करने को मिला। मैंने उसके जरिए मैंने अपना देखा कि मैं कैसे क्योंकि मुझे काफ़ी ट्रैवल करने में और इन सब चीज़ों में काफ़ी मुझे प्रॉब्लम होती थी। मुझे अकेले ट्रैवल करना इन सब की नॉलेज नहीं थी। तो थ्रू दैट इकोनॉमिक जस्टिस एम्पावरमेंट प्रोग्राम मुझे अकेले मैं ट्रैवल कैसे कर सकती हूँ, मुझे इसकी पूरी नॉलेज हो गई। उसके साथ साथ मैंने काफ़ी सारे सेशंस और काफ़ी सारी स्किल्स अटेंड की, जैसे लीडरशिप, कम्युनिकेशन एट वर्क। ऐसे जो सेशंस थे जो उन्होंने मुझे बहुत ज़्यादा सीखने को उन्होंने मुझे प्रोवाइड किया कि कैसे हम इन चीज़ों को मैनेज कर सकते हैं और एक जगह कैसे काम कर सकते हैं। दैट्स व्हाई क्योंकि मैं हमेशा से अच्छे हाई स्टडीज और इस करना चाहती थी। दैट्स व्हाई आई विल डू दैट प्रोग्राम।
Good, thank you. You know, and I think a few of the things that you mentioned are actually what we experience a lot in the program. I think one of the first things we notice in young women's like empowerment actually is that the mobility increases. And I think for a few people on the call, that might be like a strange concept because in other countries, mobility is actually a given. But I think in the context here, you know, a lot of women are not mobile, and the fact that girls and women actually learn that in the program, take their first step, is actually quite empowering. So thank you for sharing that. I'm coming back to you so that later you can explain what this actually all means to you. Ankita? Yeah, okay. Yeah, a bit similar as Bhushan. In your journey, you know, who has been your, let's say, inspiration? And, you know, how has that helped you? How has this role model actually helped you move forward?
Okay, so in my journey, my inspiration is Vasundhara Di, and Vasundhara. Okay, so जब से मैंने प्रोग्राम ज्वाइन किया, जब मैंने एज अ पार्टिसिपेंट, तो उस टाइम पे मेरी जो रोल मॉडल थी वो वसुंधरा दी थी। एंड इंस्पिरेशन इसलिए कि मैंने उनसे बहुत सारी चीजें सीखी। आई एम राइट? ओके, सो उनसे मैंने बहुत सारी चीजें सीखी, लाइक जैसे कि सेशंस जो होते हैं, सेशंस इन द सेंस कि गोल सेटिंग हो गया एंड कम्युनिकेशन हो गया। तो अगर मैं गोल सेटिंग की बात करूँ, सो गोल सेटिंग उस टाइम पे ये था कि स्टार्टिंग में मेरे को फैमिली की वजह से टीचिंग करनी पड़ी, कि फैमिली ने बोला आप टीचिंग का कोर्स करो, टीचिंग कोर्स इज द बेस्ट बिकॉज गर्ल्स के लिए सेफ होता है। बट मुझे वो नहीं करना था, फिर भी मैंने 2 साल किया बिकॉज ऑफ प्रेशर कि हाँ चलो कर लेते। उस टाइम पे गाइडेंस नहीं मिली थी। बट जब वसुंधरा दी ने बताया, मतलब मैंने उनसे पूछा कि दीदी मैंने कोर्स आई हैव डन, बट मेरा इसमें कोई भी इंटरेस्ट नहीं है। गोल सेटिंग फिर मुझे वहां से मिला कि हाँ ओके, सो मुझे ना गोल सेटिंग नहीं करनी, मतलब गोल सेटिंग इन द सेंस की लाइक सेशंस टीचिंग में मेरा नहीं है कुछ भी रोल, टीचिंग नहीं करनी मुझे। फिर मुझे यहाँ समझ आया कि हाँ अब मुझे करना है, मुझे ये करना है कि जो लाइक मुझे ना सोशल वर्क अच्छा लगता है, सोशल वर्क। तो यहाँ फिर था कि लाइक हाँ मैं सोशल वर्क करूंगी। तब वहां पे मेरे को समझ आया कि गोल सेटिंग इज माई लाइक, कि हाँ यहाँ पे मेरी गोल सेटिंग हो गई। एंड उसके बाद फिर अगर मैं बात करूँ कि सेशंस में कम्युनिकेशंस, हम कम्युनिकेशंस अपने घर में फिर वो था कि मैंने कितनी कम्युनिकेशन अपने घर में सीखी, बात की। देन उसके बाद मेरे को पता चला कि घर में बात करी, सब कुछ बताया सर। उसके बाद बात आती है नेगोशिएशन की, कि फैमिली से नेगोशिएशन किया मैंने कि हाँ मैंने उसके बाद इंटर्न ज्वाइन किया, बिकॉज फैमिली का था कि टीचिंग कर, 6 से 2 की जॉब करो, सेफ होता है गर्ल्स के लिए, सोशल वर्क अच्छा नहीं होता, कॉर्पोरेट लाइन अच्छी नहीं होती गर्ल्स के लिए। बट मैंने नेगोशिएशन करके ये भी समझाया उन्हें कि नहीं, गर्ल्स के लिए भी सेफ होता है इन्वायरमेंट अगर हम सोशल वर्क, क्योंकि सेफ्टी पर्पज से लाइक हाँ हमें इन्वायरमेंट में बहुत फर्क पड़ता है, कि इसीलिए तो नेगोशिएशन की बात करें तो ये चीजें मैंने यहाँ इम्प्लीमेंट किया इस सेशंस में। यस, थैंक यू।
Thank you, Ankita. I think you're having, you're talking about one of the other like huge barriers for girls and women. The other is like, the aspect of safety that, the people in the society consider actually the society as unsafe for women. And I think also, your parents considered our organization initially as unsafe for you. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. But I think your story makes it really, like clear, like how difficult it is for a young woman. Then if you have these aspirations to really pursue them, because then people start to worry about your safety. And, instead of the society becoming safer, the response is let's limit girls and women so that they're going to be safe. So we talk a little bit more about that. So I think we have mobility, very nice explained, and now also the concept of safety, which really restricts girls and women in the society. Thanks, Ankita.
Thanks, Koki.
Pooja, can you switch on your camera, or is your camera on? There you are. There you are. Yeah. So tell us, you have done an internship, and you've also received mentorship. Can you explain a little bit about that? How has that helped you in your journey?
Yeah, sure, Koki ma'am. Thank you so much for inviting me. मेरी जो जर्नी है गोल प्रोग्राम की, मैंने 2013 में शुरू की थी एज अ पार्टिसिपेंट। एंड उसके बाद फिर मैं गोल प्रोग्राम में सीएससी बनी, मैंने एज अ सीएससी इंटर्नशिप किया। मैं फिर जूनियर कोच भी बनी गोल प्रोग्राम के अंदर ही। एंड वहाँ पर मुझे गोल प्रोग्राम के थ्रू एक मेंटर मिली, उषा मैम। उन्होंने मुझे बहुत हेल्प किया मेरी जर्नी में आगे बढ़ने के लिए। एंड उनका और मेरा सेम इंटरेस्ट था, सेम फील्ड था। लाइक मुझे भी कंप्यूटर में काम करना पसंद था, एंड अलग अलग चीजें एंड कुछ ना कुछ क्रिएट करना इन कंप्यूटर। तो वो उससे रिलेटेड ही उनका भी इंटरेस्ट था। तो वो मुझे गाइड करती थी कि कैसे हम सीवी राइटिंग में कैसे सीवी राइटिंग कर सकते हैं, कैसे एक्सेल में शीट्स बना सकते हैं, कैसे मैं अपनी ईमेल राइटिंग इम्प्रूव कर सकती हूँ। तो इन सब चीज़ों में उषा मैम ने मुझे हेल्प किया। एंड देन 4 साल पहले 2018 में मैंने बैंक ऑफ अमेरिका ज्वाइन किया। बैंक ऑफ अमेरिका के लिए भी उन्होंने मुझे हेल्प किया था कि किस तरीके से मैं, जो मेरा काम है ग्लोबल कंप्लायंस टीम के अंदर स्टेटमेंट वगैरह रिव्यूज करना, उसमें मैं कैसे अपने आप को इम्प्रूव कर सकती हूँ, किस तरह से मैं स्टॉक मार्केट के बारे में पढूं, गूगल करूं। एंड साथ में मुझे बैंक ऑफ अमेरिका में भी जो मेरे ट्रेनर थे और जो मेरे टीम लीडर हैं, उन्होंने मुझे बहुत हेल्प किया कि किस तरीके से हम स्टॉक को सर्च कर सकते हैं, कैसे पता कर सकते हैं कि इक्विटी क्या होती है, कॉमन स्टॉक क्या होते हैं और ऑप्शन ट्रेडिंग क्या होती है। इन सब डिटेल को सर्च करना कैसे है, कैसे पढ़ना है इसके बारे में, कैसे इसकी अंडरस्टैंडिंग समझनी है, उन सब चीजों में भी मुझे मेंटरशिप बहुत अच्छी मिली। चाहे वो मैं गोल के अंदर थी उस टाइम पर भी, गोल के बाहर जब मैं बैंक ऑफ अमेरिका में गई वहां पर भी मुझे बहुत अच्छी मेंटरशिप मिली, मुझे लोगों ने हेल्प किया। एंड उषा मैम थ्रू द ईयर वो अभी भी मेरे साथ कनेक्टेड है। मुझे कुछ भी क्वेरीज होती हैं, कुछ भी प्रॉब्लम्स होती हैं, वो मुझे अभी भी हेल्प करती हैं। सो इससे मुझे बहुत ज़्यादा हेल्प मिली है मेरे लाइफ में, कैसे आगे बढ़ना है, कैसे मैं और डिसीजन ले सकती हूँ। और इसके साथ मैंने अपनी एजुकेशन भी कंटिन्यू रखा है, तो मेंटरशिप बहुत ज़रूरी है। थैंक यू सो मच फॉर गिविंग मी दिस चांस।
Thank you. I think you're explaining really well how important mentoring has been for you so far. So what is next for you? Because it looks you've already done quite a lot. What is your next ambition? What's the next step?
Ma'am, I have so many steps right now.
Oh.
Because this is not the enough for me. I am thinking to pursue MBA, and I want to become in very good position in my company right now where I am working. So I am thinking so many things in my life.
Good.
Thank
Happy
you.
to hear, and I wish you all the best with
you so
that.
much.
Yeah. Great. Then we have another Pooja who works for another bank, BACI. And I think, yeah, we're very happy and very proud with these connections actually who have been supporting the young women in our program for quite a number of years. Can I see the other Pooja? Or here? Huh? Pooja Kumari, can we see you, hear you? Perhaps there's some technical issue. Can you follow up? Okay, then I think in the meantime, I'll go to Fala. Then we can see if we can get to Pooja. Hi, Falak, how are you?
I'm good, Koki.
Happy to hear.
So good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good, Falak. You have experience as the coordinator of the Economic Empowerment Program. And yeah, you've also interacted quite a lot with parents. You have also interacted quite a lot with employers. So what is your experience with employers, and what do you think that they need to, consciously do when they want to employ, young women?
Yeah. I think the first thing that comes to my mind, and Ankita spoke about it, Pooja also spoke about it, and I can't emphasize enough on the importance of the mentors in the workplace, because I mean, even at our stage, we also need mentors. And it becomes even more important, especially when you've not worked before, and you haven't completed your education through regular college, so you haven't had that exposure before. So and in the workplace, as Pooja said, that you will have supervisors who will guide you through your tasks, your deliverables that you're supposed to deliver, and make you understand your work in the context of it. But there are so many other aspects to a job, working anywhere, that the girls need support with. Like, for example, adjusting to a new work culture, building rapport with your teammates, building leadership, or taking initiative in the workplace, communication skills. these are the skills you unfortunately you don't just enter with. It's something that you learn as you do your work. And if you have a good mentor in the workplace, they can really help with these softer aspects of working. And many participants, when they come to our exposure visits, when we take them to corporates or any stores where they're supposed to be starting internships, they say, oh, I really want to work at a place like this. Look at it, such a big office, such nice people, but I'm not sure whether I'll ever be able to work here, because they're struggling with confidence, and a good mentor can really help at that stage. So one thing is definitely mentors in the workplace. Another experience we've had while working with a lot of programs, internship programs with employers, is that sensitization of team members on why that company is collaborating with an NGO on such programs is very important, because buy-in at the leadership level is just not enough. You also need the teams, people that the girls will be working with need to understand the context of a program like this. And sometimes people see these projects as charity, which is not okay. Like, they are equals in this partnership and they need to be treated with the same respect like any other employee. 2-3 other things that I can think of is
Paula?
a little, yeah, sorry.
No, can you explain a little bit more? I think for people who are not familiar with like the Indian context, can you explain a little bit about why
Sure.
this program is actually like necessary for the target group that we're working with?
Yeah, so Koki, are you asking me in the context of sensitizing team members in the
No,
workplace?
I think in general, because you are saying that
Yeah.
those companies, actually the staff there need to understand
Okay.
why we are doing it. So perhaps you can explain it a little bit for the people who are attending and who are not familiar with the context. Yeah.
It's going to be covered in the next point that I was going to bring up, which was having a little flexibility and hand holding in the probation period, because the girls that we've worked with through this program, they come from socially and economically excluded communities. These are the girls who have really had to negotiate with their parents to be able to complete their education. Sometime in Delhi, especially, all the girls that we work with, they pursue their graduation through distance learning. So they do their entire graduation while sitting at home, and that's why the challenges around mobility, communication, working in a team, or working with a lot of people, that becomes very difficult for our participants. So that's basically the context. So when I'm saying that initial period, they will have to be a little bit flexible and they'll have to provide a little hand-holding support. This is what I mean. And there are certain jobs which are non-traditional positions, like delivery executives or factories or warehouses where they work. So it's going to be very difficult when young girls first enter into a workplace like this, because first of all, it's their own self-confidence. They struggle with it. They are really worried. Parents are really worried about safety. So they don't allow girls to step out and work in places like that. And even if they somehow manage to cross that barrier, when there are no women in the workplace, it's a very, the language is a little harsh, the environment is a little overwhelming. So what happens is the employer's expectation is they want them to start performing, which is not going to be an easy task. They will also not come completely trained in the skills that are required for the specific job. So probation period will basically a lot of hand-holding, explaining them what exactly is the task, letting them make some mistakes, and take it from there. So that is what I mean. And some of the things they can do is, for example, when there aren't enough women in the workplaces, they can start by recruiting a group of women together, which is, I know it's not an easy task. But when we tried with the delivery executive project, we actually did a buddy system where 2 women were placed together so that they don't feel completely isolated and alone. They can also help with shift timings. Maybe they have women working in different shifts, so they can adjust a little bit that way. Other thing, I think physical infrastructure is also important, providing them with a break room, having clean and usable separate washroom. And sometimes it's a physically very heavy job, like labor intensive. Then you might also have to provide them with nutritional support. So these are some of the things that come to my mind. I will stop here now.
I didn't.
And do you think this is currently provided, or do you see that as a gap in what is there?
Some organization, that's what I meant, Koki, that buy-in from the leadership, that needs to trickle down. So some employers are really understanding of these issues that women face in the workplace. And we've been working with those employers, and but sometimes it takes a while for them to understand because of that aspect, these girls, let us give them that opportunity. Like a little bit of a charity attitude comes, which becomes a barrier in thinking from these perspectives. So
Yeah. So on one hand, the girls need to be supported, but on the other hand, they also need to be taken serious and really challenged, and really the capacity really needs to be built. Yeah, great.
so
Yeah, you want to say something?
no,
Oh.
I just agreed with you.
Yeah. Great. Sorry, I have to look at my paper. I want to go back to Gulshan, because I think some of the things she has already explained. So you've started your economic justice, economic empowerment pathway, and I actually want to ask you what does it actually mean to you? The journey that you're on to. How has whatever the program that you've gone through, how has this been relevant for you, and how has it empowered you?
So प्रोग्राम ने मुझे एम्पावरमेंट करने में बहुत ज्यादा, क्योंकि फलक दी ने पहले ही बताया कि लाइफ में एक मेंटर होना काफी ज्यादा जरूरी है। तो जो फर्स्ट मुझे इंटर्नशिप से जो मुझे चीज सबसे ज्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट प्रोवाइड हुई है वो कि एक मेंटरशिप मेरे पास अभी मेंटरशिप स्टार्ट होने से पहले एक सर्वे भी किया था हमने कि उस प्रोग्राम में आप कितना मतलब आगे बढ़े हो। तो मैंने रियलाइज किया कि जब मैं ये इंटर्नशिप स्टार्ट हुई थी तो मेरे पास मेंटरिंग के लिए कोई भी मतलब ऐसा पर्सन नहीं था जो मुझे गाइड कर सके। बट आफ्टर जब मैंने इंटर्नशिप कंप्लीट की है मेरे पास एक पर्सन नहीं, मेरे पास इतने सारे पर्सन है, मुझे जब उनसे हेल्प चाहिए वो मुझे गाइड कर सकते हैं। स्पेशली जब मैंने इंटर्नशिप इन द पीरियड ऑफ इंटर्नशिप मुझे मतलब मैं बहुत ज्यादा कंफ्यूज थी उस कि मुझे क्या करना है, किस तरह करना है। तो जो मेरा सपोर्ट सिस्टम था लाइक फलक दी, अंकिता दी, अंकित भैया, जो लोग ऐसे लोग थे जिन्होंने मतलब मुझे हर तरह से गाइडेंस प्रोवाइड की। जब मुझे जरूरत हुई किसी भी चीज में, जब भी मैं कंफ्यूज हुई, मैंने उन्हें हमेशा कॉल किया, हमेशा उनसे पूछा। तो उन्होंने मेरी हर तरह से मेरी हेल्प करने की कोशिश की, क्योंकि काफी सारे चैलेंजेस होते हैं। क्योंकि इंटर्नशिप में मैं थोड़ा सा और शेयर करना चाहूंगी अपनी जर्नी, क्योंकि जब मैंने स्टार्ट किया था तो मेरे घर से मुझे इतना ज्यादा सपोर्ट नहीं मिला था, बिकॉज मेरी मदर सपोर्ट करती थी। मेरे फादर को ऐसा लगता था कि पब्लिक प्राइवेट जो जॉब्स होती हैं या मतलब उनको लेके थोड़ी थॉट्स, आई थिंक पापा को शायद डाउट था। बट जब मैंने इंटर्नशिप ज्वाइन की और द इम्प्रूवमेंट जो उन्होंने मेरे अंदर देखी, उसके बाद आफ्टर कंप्लीटिंग द इंटर्नशिप मेरे फादर मुझे काफी ज्यादा सपोर्ट करते हैं कि जब अब फाइनेंशियली इंडिपेंडेंट अगर आप हो तो अगर बहुत सारी चीजें आपके फेवर में होने लगती हैं, लोग आपको सपोर्ट करने लगते हैं, उसको सीरियसली थोड़ा आपको ट्रीट करने लगते हैं, तो ये सभी के लिए काफी ज्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट है।
I think you explained that very nice. And I think it shows a little bit, once you become like financially independent, things start changing within the family. So thank you for sharing this, and I think it's really interesting to hear, how things are changing for you. I actually have a similar question for Ankita in that sense, because you already, really nice explained, your journey. And it's a bit similar as with Gulshan. You also had to talk to your parents. So what has changed for you?
ओके, सो इन माय जर्नी, मतलब मैंने पहले ही बताया कि जैसे कि फैमिली से जब नेगोशिएशन की बात आती है और फैमिली के साथ मतलब कम्युनिकेशन की बात आती है, सो हमें किस तरीके से जो चीज़ें सीखी मैंने और वो की मैंने कि हाँ ये सारी चीज़ें एज अ पार्टिसिपेंट से लेके नाउ आई एम कोच, मैं मित्रायना में कोच हूँ। सो ये वाली चीज़ें यहाँ तक हुई। उसके बाद लाइक जब सेशंस लीडिंग की बात आती है कि हाँ ये सेशंस मैंने तो ले लिए, मेरे अंदर तो हो गया कि इम्प्लीमेंट हो गया, देन आई रियलाइज कि हम मेरी जैसी ना बहुत सी यंग गर्ल्स हैं कि जिनके साथ ऐसे चैलेंजेस होते हैं, फैमिली से नेगोशिएशन, फाइनेंशियल इश्यूज एंड लाइक डिसीजन मेकिंग की अगर बात करूं मैं कि खुद के लिए कैसे डिसीजंस लेने चाहिए इस सेशंस के थ्रू, एंड आई लर्न लाइक, सो फिर मुझे रियलाइज हुआ कि ये सेशंस ना मुझे भी लीड करना चाहिए। मतलब इम्प्लीमेंट तो हो गया मेरे ऊपर, मैंने चीजें सीख ली। अब बात आई लीडिंग की। सो अब भी ना मैं एज अ कोच मैं सेशन सीख रही हूँ एंड अपने ही जैसे और भी यंग गर्ल्स के साथ ये सेशंस करती हूँ कि हाँ मेरी जितनी हेल्प हुई है मेरे मेंटोर से उतनी हेल्प मैं कर सकूँ। एंड मैं इतनी मेंटरशिप तो अब सीख रही हूँ कि एज अ मेंटोर मैं भी अब करूँ। थैंक यू।
Yeah, very nice. And I think, this is really, I think, what Maitrayana is all about. How can we build female leadership? How can we build participants, as leaders, so that, you spoke about who your role models were. Vasundhara was your role model, and now for the next generation in this program, you are the role model. So I'm really happy to see that. For me, this is always like a proof that whatever we are doing, really helps. So I wish you all the best.
थैंक यू
that.
कोकी।
Yeah. Good. Pooja, I have another question for you. Because, I mean, you're really very ambitious. And, how has, being in this job and working there already for a couple of years, how has that changed like your life, but also how has that changed your status within your family?
हेलो। तो डूइंग दिस जॉब मेरा जो स्टेटस है वो बहुत ज्यादा चेंज हुआ है टू दी माय फैमिली, टू आउटसाइड एज वेल। मतलब लाइक अब पीपल ना, जब आप अर्निंग करने लगते हो, जब आप कुछ होते हो, आपकी कोई पोजीशन होती है किसी कंपनी में, तो आपके लोग ना आपकी बातें सुनना पसंद करते हैं, क्योंकि उनको लगता है कि अच्छा आप कर रहे हो कुछ तो आपको चीजें पता होंगी। तो अब जब मेरी फैमिली में मेरे जो रिलेटिव्स हैं या मेरे जो नेबर्स हैं, वो मुझसे पूछते हैं कि क्या करना चाहिए बच्चों के लिए, कैसे पढ़ाई करनी चाहिए, कहाँ जॉब कर सकते हैं, क्या ऐसा कर सकते हैं वो भी अच्छी जगह का अच्छी कंपनी में जॉब ले सके। इवन फाइनेंशियली इंडिपेंडेंट होने के बाद मेरी फैमिली में खुद, मतलब मैं खुद डिसीजन लेती हूँ। लाइक अगर कोई भी कुछ भी चेंजेस होना होता है घर में, या कुछ नया चीज लेना ही क्यों ना हो, छोटी से छोटी चीजों का डिस्कशन भी मेरे साथ किया जाता है। तो आपकी वैल्यू बढ़ जाती है, आपको लोग वैल्यू देने लगते हैं उससे। अगर आप कुछ नहीं कर रहे हो, घर पर हो, तो कोई आपको कुछ समझता नहीं है, कोई पूछता नहीं है इतना। तो जब मैं फाइनेंशियली इंडिपेंडेंट हुई, मैं और ड्यूरिंग द लॉकडाउन, लॉकडाउन के अंदर जब सबकी जॉब चली गई, आई एम द ओनली पर्सन हु इज वर्किंग इन द लॉकडाउन। तो लोगों को देख के अरे यार ये घर पे काम कर रही है, क्योंकि लॉकडाउन के अंदर मेरे घर पर और कंपनी की तरफ से लैपटॉप्स आए, सिस्टम्स आए, यूपीएस आया, वाईफाई आया। तो सबको देख के इंटरेस्ट बढ़ा कि अरे कहाँ काम करती है, क्या काम करती है, कि अरे इसके पास तो इतना सामान आ रहा है, हम तो सबके सब बेरोजगार बैठे, ये घर पे बैठ के भी जॉब कर रही है। बट जब आउटसाइड वाले, जब मैं ऑफिस जाती थी तो मॉर्निंग में जाती थी, 11:30 रात को आती थी, लेट हो जाता था गुरुग्राम, कम्यूट टाइम मेरा बहुत ज्यादा था, तो सबको डाउट होता था कि यार कहाँ जॉब करती है, इतना लेट आती है, क्या प्रॉब्लम है, क्या है, कैसा कौन सी जगह जॉब करती है जो इतना लेट हो जाता है। और सेफ्टी इशू तो सबको ही रहता है वुमेन के लिए। बट ड्यूरिंग द लॉकडाउन जब मैंने घर पे काम शुरू किया, लोग घर पर आते थे, देखते थे कि अरे यार इसके पास तो मतलब इतनी कौन सी कंपनी है जो इस तरीके से इतना सामान दे रही है, इतना कुछ घर पर ही दे रही है काम करने को। एंड टोटल द ईयर मेरे फैमिली में कोई काम नहीं कर रहा था, मैंने ही सारी फाइनेंशियली सपोर्ट की फैमिली को 2 ईयर तक। एंड दे आर सो प्राउड ऑफ मी, एंड आई हैव बाय माय ओन लैंड एज वेल। एंड मेरे जो मैं बहुत सारे इन्वेस्टमेंट्स भी करती हूँ कि किस तरीके से, और लोगों को सजेस्ट भी करती हूँ कि आपको इन्वेस्टमेंट करना चाहिए, चाहे छोटे से छोटा, बड़ा से बड़ा, इन्वेस्टमेंट करना बहुत जरूरी है, क्योंकि आपका पैसा लॉन्ग टर्म में ग्रो करता है, शॉर्ट टर्म इनकम जल्दी नहीं मिलती है। इस तरह से मैं अपने फ्रेंड्स फैमिली को सजेस्ट करती रहती हूँ कि आप कैसे छोटा छोटा पैसा आप अपने लिए बचा सकते हो, ताकि जब आपको जरूरत हो तो आप को किसी के सामने कुछ बोलना ना पड़े, मांगना ना पड़े, आप खुद से अपनी फैमिली की, आपकी खुद की और दूसरों की हेल्प कर सकते हो। तो थैंक यू सो मच।
Wow, very impressive. And yeah, I think we really need to hire you at least to do a course with us on stock market, because I think there's a lot to learn from you. But
Sure,
I
ma'am.
think, yeah, but I think, I mean, how horrible the lockdown has been. I mean, for you, it has been really an opportunity, to show, the importance of, following your economic pathway, and how you can actually support your family, but also be an inspiration in the community. And you really show that, once you're in that position, you actually really have an opportunity to change the mindset of people in your community. So yeah, I think we're all very proud of you. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
It's so inspiring to see you, Pooja. Really amazing.
Yeah. Good.
Thank you, Palakdi.
Can I still ask a question? I'm asking Shazia, who's sitting behind me. The other Pooja. Yes. She's there. Can you speak, Pooja?
I think her audio is not connected, Shazia. She might not be able to hear us.
Okay, then in the meantime, I'm going back to you, Fala, because I actually asked 2 questions in one. Of course, we're using sports as a tool to empower adolescent and girls and young women. Can you talk a little bit about how we do that in the perspective of this program? Do we think that sport, still plays a role if we're talking about economic empowerment and economic justice?
Sure. I mean, I remember our initial conversations when we said that let's develop sports module to build employability skills. And we were all wondering, how do we, I mean, in a way, exactly do that? We know that by playing sports, you gain these skills of leadership skills, you learn time management, you have like a sports person spirit, etc. But how do we, in a very short bit of time is a constraint, right? Because our participants are in the need of jobs right now. And building these skills through sports, playing, practicing every day, there are so many challenges around it. But the way we currently do that is we love netball. Everybody loves playing netball. All of our participants are our club players, or they have played in our program at some point. Like you said, Gulshan is a state level she's played. There are some national level champions and winners also in our like economic justice program. So it really helps that that environment is already there, and everybody loves playing. And actually, they don't have that space after you graduate. You or you are in college, you get busy with your studies, etc., and then you don't really find that space anymore. So one thing that this program does is provides that space where all these girls can come together and just to even energize and charge up their playing sports. Now, how do we exactly use sports as a medium to deliver life skills? We just play netball every day. Because when you are playing a game like netball, there are different positions. There are certain rules, right? So, for example, the entire court is divided into 3 parts. Certain players have their positions where they cannot move beyond a certain part on the court. What we do is we try and modify the games a little bit to talk about the different employability skills that we have identified are very crucial to joining a new workplace for a young person. So what Gulshan said about, let's say, teamwork, and I also said initially that our girls in Delhi especially, they've not done regular college. They've not had that environment where they had to work in a group of people, be in a leadership position, or work as a team member before. So then in a context like this, the way we modify the game is we take, so first round is, okay, you just play the game as normally with all the rules that you're supposed to play with. In second round, what we will do is we will take out the crucial positions of a, let's say, a center player or a goalkeeper, and then we will ask the team to play the game without these positions. And when we debrief, we will talk about the challenges that came up when these crucial positions were not there. And connecting that to what is exactly happening in their workplace currently while they're doing the internship, that really makes a lot of difference. So they will say, yes, we were not able to score when the goal keeper wasn't there because they had an important role to play. And that really gave us a lot of, we got into a lot of fighting with our team players because we were not able to support each other. And then we would say, okay, something like this, does this also happen at workplace? And I think Gulshan and Ankita and all of these guys would be able to tell you that then they really connected to the challenges in their workplace. And that is basically the objective of the sport for employability module that we have developed. That by playing sports, all the soft skills that you learn while you are on the ground playing, how do you connect that and apply it simultaneously in the workplaces that can really help you. I hope that I was able to explain it in a way that made sense, but yes.
Yeah, it did to me, but yeah, I'm a big fan of that approach. Yeah, so thanks for explaining that. This was a question that we not prepared, but I thought since I'm the boss now, I can, fit that in. So actually, I now, well done. I now want to actually ask a question to all the panelists. So, whenever you feel like speaking, please do so. Because we really want to hear your views. So, like moving forward, what do you think actually we should do, to make sure that more young women can, actually get economic justice and become economic independent? So either, the society or we as a program, just tell us. What is necessary to make sure that more and more women can actually, and young women can become financially independent?
So, can I?
Yes, please.
Yeah. So, financially independent important क्यों है? Like क्यों होना चाहिए? So, मैं अपनी जर्नी से कनेक्ट करती हूँ कि हाँ, so when I start, मैं as a intern मैंने जब Maitrayana ज्वाइन किया था, so उस टाइम पे कोविड था एंड कोविड में माय फुल फैमिली, लाइक मेरे पापा की जॉब नहीं थी, मेरे भाई जॉब नहीं करते थे उस टाइम पे, एंड अभी भी मेरा एक ही भाई जॉब करता है, एक भाई नहीं करता, एंड लाइक पूरा लॉकडाउन मैंने अपनी फैमिली को सपोर्ट किया, एंड उस टाइम पे लाइक मुझे खुद तो प्राउड फील हुआ ही, एंड अब मेरी फैमिली को भी हुआ कि हाँ, मतलब फाइनेंशियली इंडिपेंडेंट उस टाइम पे मुझे लगा कि मैं अपनी चॉइस से अपने पैसे अपनी फैमिली को दे सकती हूँ, कि हाँ, मतलब मुझे इतना है कि अब मैं सोचना नहीं पड़ेगा, एंड अपने लिए भी हमारे पास अपने सेविंग्स भी होती है, हमें खुद की चॉइस भी किसी से पूछना नहीं पड़ेगा कि हाँ, क्या मैं ये कर सकती हूँ, क्या मैं और भी गर्ल्स होए, मतलब वो खुद के लिए हो, अपनी फैमिली के लिए हो, ताकि किसी पे डिपेंडेंट ना रहे। यस, थैंक यू सो मच।
Yeah, great. I think that that's a fantastic dream, and I think that's also what we want. Do you have any ideas how we can achieve this, either as a program in Maitrayana, or the community or the society? What do we need to get there? What would you advise us? You're on mute. Oh, yeah.
So I think we can do one thing. अगर गर्ल्स को जो सबसे पहला इम्पोर्टेंट चीज चाहिए होती है वो है सपोर्ट, और थ्रू जो स्किल्स होती हैं उनको अगर इम्प्रूवमेंट किया जाए, जैसे उनकी कम्युनिकेशन स्किल्स, लीडरशिप, जो टीम वर्क है, अगर हम इस पे वर्क करते हैं अपने प्रोग्राम के थ्रू, तो हम उसको, उस जो गोल है गर्ल्स को फाइनेंशियली इंडिपेंडेंट करने का, उस तक हम अचीव कर सकते हैं उसको।
यस
स्किल्स।
यस, सो जैसे कि गुलशन ने किया, मैं उसमें ही ऐड करना चाहती हूँ कि जब हम इकोनॉमिकल एम्पावरमेंट की बात करते हैं, सो दैट इज द वन कि हम मित्रायना को एग्जैक्टली अगर हम खुद ही फाइनेंशियल इंडिपेंडेंट नहीं होंगे, सो वी आर नॉट, हम ये सपोज नहीं कर सकते कि गर्ल्स दूसरी भी हो जाए, है ना। सो दैट इज आवर वर्क कि अगर हम कम्युनिकेशन होगा, टीम वर्क होगा, ये चीजें सीखेंगे, उसके बाद हमारी लीडरशिप आएगी आगे, देन उसके बाद वी आर लाइक फाइनेंशियल इंडिपेंडेंट, हम यहाँ शो होगा हमारा। यस।
Okay, great. So I think asking Pooja for the stock market course is going to be crucial. Huh? Yeah, Pooja, you're just switching on your camera. What are your ideas?
I think if anyone wants to pursue her dream, she knows that what is she want to do. Like if she will talk to their parents, अगर वो अपने घर पे अपने पेरेंट्स से, अपने मदर फादर, अपने सिस्टर से बात करेंगे, तो उनको खुद मोटिवेशनल मिलेगा कि वो ऐसे अपनी लाइफ में क्या नहीं कर पाए हैं जो वो करना चाहती हैं। उनके ड्रीम्स हम खुद जीना चाहते हैं, जो वो करना चाहते थे वो नहीं कर पाए, तो वो हम उनके लिए कर सकते हैं। तो और सेकंड, मेंटरिंग बहुत जरूरी है, क्योंकि ऐसे बहुत से गर्ल्स हैं इंडिया में जो करना चाहती है अपनी लाइफ में कुछ ना कुछ आगे बढ़ना चाहती है, बट उनको पता नहीं होता कि करना क्या है, किस तरीके से करना है, किससे बात करे जाकर, या फिर वो इवन घर पे भी इतना ज्यादा सपोर्ट नहीं मिल पाता है कुछ को, तो क्योंकि वो अपने पेरेंट्स से भी बात करने में डरती हैं कि अगर इफ सम गर्ल्स जो मिडिल क्लास है वो सडनली जाके बोले कि मुझे मॉडलिंग करना है अपने पेरेंट्स से, तो वो लोग एकदम से ना कि अरे यार नहीं, वो तो सेफ नहीं होता, सेफ्टी पर्पज से सोचो क्या कर सकते क्या नहीं कर सकते। तो एक सही इंसान जो उन्हें वो रास्ता दिखा सके, बता सके कि वो कैसे मॉडलिंग कर सकती है, कैसे स्टार्ट कर सकता है, और उसके अंदर वो खुद नॉलेज लेकर फिर अपने पेरेंट्स को मोटिवेट करना, अपने पेरेंट्स को समझाना कि सी दे इज ऑल्सो सेफ प्लेस फॉर द वुमेन in the modeling sector or in the corporate sector। तो अपने पेरेंट्स को वो कॉन्फिडेंट दिलाना कि आप वो चीज कर सकते हो, आप अपने पेरेंट्स, आप जिस भी फील्ड में जा रहे हो, जिस भी प्लेस में आप काम कर रहे हो वो सेफ है। वो सबसे पहला जो पेरेंट्स का इश्यू होता है वो यही होता है कि क्या गर्ल्स सेफ हो पाएंगी अगर वो बाहर जा रही हैं, वहां पर उनको सेफ एनवायरनमेंट, सेफ प्लेस, सेफ पीपल मिलेंगे या नहीं। तो वो कॉन्फिडेंट, वो स्किल्स अपने अंदर डेवलप करना, और फिर अपने पेरेंट्स को उतना कॉन्फिडेंट दिलाना कि देखो मैं जहां भी जाऊंगी सेफ है, वो जगह सेफ है, वो वर्किंग प्लेस सेफ है, वहाँ के लोग सेफ है। तो आई थिंक कोई भी पेरेंट्स उनको मना नहीं करेगा। एंड अपने आप को, अपने अंदर कॉन्फिडेंट इतना बहुत ज्यादा जरूरी है, कॉन्फिडेंट लेके आना, क्योंकि जब आप कॉन्फिडेंट के साथ कोई भी बात रखते हो, कोई भी चीज बोलते हो, तो आई थिंक वो सारी चीजें पॉसिबल हैं करना अपनी लाइफ में। तो कॉन्फिडेंट रहना, डिसीजन मेकिंग कि हाँ मुझे इस लाइन में जाना है, मुझे ये करना है, तो ये डिसीजन मुझे अपनी लाइफ में लेकर आना है, ये चीजें होनी चाहिए। उस पॉइंट ऑफ द, उस टाइम ऑफ द पॉइंट में आपको अपना डिसीजन लेना ही चाहिए, लेना ही होगा, क्योंकि कई बार गर्ल्स पीछे हो जाती हैं कि सपोर्ट नहीं मिलेगा या फिर कोई मानेगा नहीं, पेरेंट्स नहीं मानेंगे। तो उस टाइम पे क्या होगा, तो आप अपने, जब आप अपनी मदर से बात करोगे, अगर आप मुझसे बात करो, मेरे जो सबसे पहला इंस्पिरेशन पर्सन है वो मेरी मम्मी है, बिकॉज शी वांट्स टू डू हायर स्टडी इन हर लाइफ, बट वो कर नहीं पाई क्योंकि उनके पेरेंट्स ने उन्हें उतना करवाया नहीं। तो मेरी मम्मी ने मुझे कहा कि तुझे जितना पढ़ना है पढ़, हम तुझे रोकेंगे नहीं। मैंने आज अपना मास्टर्स भी क्लियर कर लिया है, मैं आगे भी पढ़ना चाहती हूँ, और एंड मैं अपनी फैमिली में, पूरे परिवार में, पूरे खानदान में पहली लड़की हूँ जिसने इतनी हायर स्टडी करी है। तो वो लोग ऑलरेडी बहुत ज्यादा प्राउड फील करते हैं। एंड जहाँ ये जो मेन डोमिनेटिंग कंट्री है इंडिया, वहां पर मेरे जो रिलेटिव्स हैं वो पूछते हैं कि मेरे बेटे के लिए तुम सजेस्ट करो कि वो क्या कोर्स कर सकते हैं, क्या पढ़ाई कर सकते हैं। सो दैट टाइम मेरी मम्मी बहुत ज्यादा प्राउड फील करती है, क्योंकि मेरा कोई भाई नहीं है, एंड एवरीवन पोक हर कि यू डोंट हैव सन, व्हाट विल डू इन योर फ्यूचर, एंड बुढ़ापे में आप क्या करोगे, कोई आपको सपोर्ट नहीं करेगा। तो आज जब सब मुझे देखते हैं एक पोजीशन पे, एंड मैं उनके लिए जो भी करती हूँ, तो वो बहुत प्राउड फील करते हैं। थैंक यू।
Wow. Now, thank you for sharing your story. And when I was listening, I was thinking, I mean, you left the program like a couple of years ago, but I think all the things that you are saying are the things that probably we learned from you and other participants at that point of time, that as much as we empower the girls, if we also don't include the parents, then it's going to be very difficult. So yeah, I think congratulations with the path that you have taken, but also I think paved for others. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Pooja Singh, I saw you in a flash. Are you able to connect? I can't still hear you.
She's connected. I think she can hear.
I also can't see her now. Yeah. Okay.
Sharmila, I think you need to make her a co-host so that she can unmute herself and.
We can't hear you, Pooja. There's a lot of noise, but no voice.
Pooja, if you're using your earphones, you want to try and remove them?
Yeah, can you
Yeah, I
remove your, yeah. Otherwise, okay, she's gone now, I think.
think, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Falak, let me give the word to you for this question. What do you think it is that needs to happen, either what we need to do or what needs to change in the society, and how as Maitrayana we can push
Yeah.
for that.
I think a lot of you have spoken about it quite already, but one thing that we spoke about is the skill gap that is there. A lot of participants, because of lack of exposure to different careers and fields, when they come to us, they would usually say that, they want to be a teacher, or they want a government job, or they would say that they would want to be a makeup artist or a dancer, but they would say they want to join the police, because usually that is the kind of role modeling that they see around them. And geographically, those contexts are different. Like in Delhi, it's different. Mumbai, you will see women in a lot of different kind of roles, but the guidance of how to get there is not there. Like, for example, initially when we started, I can see Pooja. Hi. Initially, when we started, there were a lot of participants who said that they want to join the banking sector, but they'll have to clear the exams, and we just don't know if we can do it, or we don't know how to do it. They had no idea that there were other different kind of roles and positions, back-end offices, where you don't necessarily have to clear those exams. A lot of employers would have expectations that they speak fluent English and they be digitally savvy, but a lot of our participants have never even opened a computer. So there's like a huge expectation and skill gap that is there. And I think that is what precisely programs that are working on economic justice are trying to do nowadays, is that how do you bridge that gap through internship programs, and not just hard skill programs, because it is one thing to learn how to use computer in an institute and practice Excel sheet every day, versus you actually go into the workplace and your boss gives you an Excel sheet and you're supposed to deliver something within half an hour and 1 hour. That's a very different thing. So what we are trying to do through the internship program is we are telling the employers that whatever these skills are that you are expecting our participants to have, why don't you teach them those skills while they are on the job as part of the internship program? And I think that is something that we have seen work quite well. So I think that is one thing that comes to my mind. Another thing I think a lot of the panelists previously spoke about is the support of parents. One of their primary concerns is their daughter's safety, and that's it. It's not like they don't want to support their daughters. I mean, there are cases there as well which would require a different approach. But parents who are really keen to support their daughter, they don't know how to support their daughter except for the fact that, okay, I will pay the fees or I will drop you to the workplace. And they are really lost in this whole process. So working with parents then becomes very crucial, right? Because I remember, I think at Bank of America, you have rotational shift. So you will have to do night shift at some point when you join Bank of America. When we started, initially, it was unimaginable that any one of our girls would actually do night shift or parents would allow them, and how will we navigate? But girls have truly shown that leadership and the confidence in themselves to say that I am ready as long as my parents, are supportive. And they have gone and they have convinced their parents. And what has helped is taking the parents to the workplace itself, showing them that, look, this is where the office is, this is where the people are that they are going to be working with. These are the safety measures that are taken by the employers. And when they see it themselves, when they interact with the employer themselves, that really builds their confidence. So working with parents at every step of the way, when we are building the career pathway, working with girls on building the career pathway becomes very crucial and important. And I think one thing that I've also realized in my experience, when we are working with young girls, and there is also external employers really want more women to join their workplace. But when you try and translate that into a reality, when these are non-traditional job roles, we get really invested and say that, oh, you must do this because look, you are a role model and you are breaking these gender norms. And sometimes I think that creates a lot of pressure, unfair pressure on the girls themselves also, parents also, and on the team also. So I think we really need to be conscious of those thin lines when we are working on programs like this. And I think someone in the chat box really said that financial literacy is the key, because just because the girls have started earning, that doesn't really mean they have the full agency to exercise, how decide how they spend their money. There are a lot of layers there as well. So if we really teach them the advanced level of financial literacy, apart from just how do you save or how do you use banking services, I think we really need to come up with a sector as a whole, actually, come up with a financial literacy module that will really take it to the next step. So I think these are some of the things that come to my mind when you say, what do we need to do? Yep.
Great, thank you, Falak. I think you really build on what already has been said. I think if I summarize it well, I think we've spoken a lot about that the girls need a lot of support. It starts at home, and Falak also said, if we want the parents to support the young women, actually we need to support the parents, because I think most of the parents are willing to support but don't know how. So I think that came out very clearly. You all also spoke about skills, and I think Falak, you explained well that a lot of employers expect skills that the girls actually don't have, and which is often because of the education system and how they are educated in school. So I think that's one of the barriers. We spoke a lot about role models. I think that has really come out very clear, and we're seeing the next generation of role models here. We spoke about the importance of mentors, really having people around who can guide the young women within their jobs, very practical, but also when it comes to all the barriers that they're facing. You also all have spoken about soft skills, the importance of soft skills, teamwork, negotiating, how do you talk to your parents? I think one of the experiences, especially with if we actually speak about the younger girls, what we see in the program there is one of the things they often say has changed is that they now can start talking to their parents. Earlier, they didn't talk to their brothers or their fathers, but now they've learned things and they start actually, talking to their parents about all kinds of issues. So I think that is there. I think a very interesting point that you also brought up is, that we would really like to see young women also in non-traditional places, but in order, for us to pursue that, we put too much pressure on them. So I think us being a bit more sensitive in that regard is really important. You also spoke about, Falak, about advanced financial literacy. And I think, well, one thing, we already have someone who can take us through, how to deal with the stock market. But I think also, really about can young women really own the money that they earn themselves, and do they have that agency to make all those decisions? I think we also spoke a lot about safety, and one thing Falak came up with a good idea, and which we know really helps, is bringing the parents actually to the places where the young women work, so that they can see that the place is safe. But I think, that's really an area in which we need to do a lot of work, because every time it comes up as one of the things that actually restricts. Good. I don't know. I can see Pooja now. I can see that she's listening. She can hear us. Let's see if we can hear her. Pooja, you have to unmute yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I'm audible now?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
can you do it without? Yeah, try.
Yeah, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am.
Can you remove your headset?
Yeah. Now I'm audible, ma'am?
Yeah.
Now audible?
Don't do anything. Start
Yeah,
talking.
yeah.
Don't move.
Yeah, ma'am. So if I'm talking about myself, I am Pooja. Currently, I'm working in Standard Chartered Bank as a client coverage manager. So I've started from my journey. The goal program has given me the opportunity to do the internship after my 12th completion. So after 12th, I have joined Standard Chartered Bank as an intern. So after that, I learned lots of things there. I'm audible now?
Yeah.
I'm audible? Yeah. So after completing my graduation, so I faced lots of issues like my communication and I don't know how to speak in front of many people and how to communicate with the people. So I only learned few of things. I mean, so I thought I have to left my job and I have to start something new and I have to grow up myself. So then I have left my job after completing my graduation. So I started to grow myself and then I rejoined. I worked on my the mistakes and communication, etc. So after that, I rejoined the Standard Chartered Bank and as a client coverage manager, and now still I'm working in Standard Chartered Bank. That's it. So then I was started to work in Standard Chartered Bank. I started with very less amount. So now I'm financially independent, and now I'm earning. Good. I can say more mega bucks. You can say. So this.
Wow, thank you, Pooja, for sharing your story.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, and I mean, you said you were not like very confident, and you thought you couldn't, do the job. What changed in between? Do you think you can do the job now?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
It's very difficult to
Ma'am,
hear
yeah.
you because there's a lot of noise on
Yeah.
your on your side. Yeah. I'm looking back at Shaja. Can we do some questions? Perhaps one question, two questions from audience? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we have like 5 minutes remaining before we wind up. I know that we've spoken like a lot. I can also imagine that people who are attending might have one or two questions.
I also just want to bring up one point that I don't really think we should miss, and this was Ankita's, and I think she was talking to me earlier, and she said that after becoming a coach and a mentor herself, she's realized that while the kind of problems that all the girls face is really similar, but solutions of these problems are not really same for everybody. So I think as people who are designing these programs, as employers who are giving these internship programs and placement opportunities, I think we really need to be aware of this. So I just wanted to bring it up for Ankita, who had mentioned it earlier.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's also the interesting thing of the work that she's doing. Yeah, because not everyone might have the same experience as you have. So, yeah. And then I think also for us, how do, as, coordinators, managers, how do we support Ankita in that process? So, yeah. Thanks for bringing that up, Palak. Do we have a question? No? Okay, then if there are no questions, I think we can wind this up. I really would like to thank everyone, to start with the people who have listened to us, who have joined the call at 4 o'clock, and it's now almost 1.5 hours later. And I think most of them are still there. So I think that's great. It means that we've had great panelists who have really been able to share their stories and to keep the audience engaged.
And
Talk.
and thank you so much. Like, it's my first live, so I was like, I'm very nervous, but it's complete. Thank you so much, everyone.
Okay. Now, yeah, for me, it was also the first time. I was also nervous, but we've done it together, huh? Yeah. Good. I think perhaps let me speak to Rushali Tucker myself, because I see now that the question is slowly disappearing. I want to wind this up. So thank you all very much. I thank the panelists already. So thank you so much also for your time. I thank the listeners, but I think also thanks to all the colleagues who have supported. I think Falak and Shazia, who have set up this webinar and have been really instrumental also in their support with the other panelists. I want to thank my private translator who is sitting next to me, and also the colleagues on the other floors who are trying to send out tweets. I don't know whether they manage, but I'm sure they have. So thank you all for your support. And yeah, I hope we can do this again some other time soon.
Thank you so much, Koki, for being such a fantastic moderator today.
Thank you, Koki.
And a big shout out to Shazia, of course. I think she really deserves a special mention.
Yes, thank you, Shazia.
All the, communication, branding, organizing, logistics. A big round of applause for you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Saryari. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
everyone.
Shazia.
Thank you, Palak. Thank you so much, dear panelists, for coming and sharing your thoughts and insight with everyone here. Also, a big thank you for all the attendees for taking out this much time from your busy schedules and listening to our panelists and our stories. We would like to close today's webinar with a picture, if possible. So
I think
if the panelists can at least, switch on their cameras.
I think I've enabled others also. They can also open their.
Okay, wonderful. Can everyone please switch on their cameras for just a minute? Wow, look at all the faces.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, great. Okay, let me just quickly take a screenshot of everyone. Perfect. Done. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a good day.
Thank you all. Thank you. Bye.
Bye, everyone.